What's going on, folks? Earthmaster here. It is January 24th, 2020, about 9:40 p.m. West Coast time here in California. Taking a look at the Earthquake 3D stream with a live view of Volcano Taal in the Philippines, still sitting at a category. I was going to say category. Alert level 4. In the Philippines, still significant earthquake activity occurring in and around the caldera and the volcanic activity out there. We will continue to monitor the activity out there in the Philippines, as it is significant activity that could no doubt lead to explosive activity in the nearby future. And I'm talking nearby, which means in the hours and days to come. Taking a look at the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 4.5 earthquake striking off the Vancouver coast in the Pacific Ocean, just off the northwest corner of Washington area. That 4.5 earthquake struck very quickly after the earthquake activity in Turkey, where you see a significant swarm activity occurring following that 6.7 magnitude earthquake that struck earlier today. And I'm not going to really say it's a swarm, but it's more or less aftershock activity occurring in that region. A swarm would be a significant magnitude and multitude of earthquakes over a period of time, but right now we're just seeing a significant aftershock activity in that part of the world. But getting back over here to the West Coast, where I kind of want to focus my attention to in the United States right now, that 4.5 struck up there in the northern part of the Cascadia subduction zone, and following that 4.5, we've seen a pretty good sized quake there in Southern California, of all places, right? Southern California, no stranger to earthquakes, right? Because it is on the very active plate boundary, the North American and the Pacific plate boundary, better known as the Cascadia or the San Andreas fault system out there. So definitely some activity occurring out there. I do want to bring up the exact location of that 4.6 magnitude earthquake that struck out there. If I can, I'll enter the coordinates of it out here on my side, and we will zoom in to the area of interest out there in Southern California right now. Well south of the Ridgecrest area, which is an area of earthquake activity since the July 4th and July 5th significant earthquakes that took place out there in Southern California. But right now, out there in the desert, a 4.5 located out there in the middle of nowhere, and in fact, the middle of no fault system, if you guys can believe that. Not a major fault system out there to be found. And I am going to bring up a another map here that will show you guys the specific fault system in that area. Hold on one second here, folks. It was a little bit behind in this part of the update, but that's okay. Right? We live and learn. So here is the 1 day magnitude 2.5 and above. Southern California. Interactive map right here shows the 4.6 magnitude earthquake that struck earlier in Southern California. Not a major earthquake, but quite a surprise to some of the well, you know, the professionals, the geologists, and the know-it-alls, right? They have that gold, that gold certificate on their wall that states that they know it all and they know what's going to happen next, and that's it. They know everything above you guys. They know everything. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting above my level of putting up with the BS. Okay, USGS knows a certain amount, right? But they do not know it all. Neither does Dutch Sense. Okay, I'm sorry for the Dutch Sense fans out there. He does not know or need. He never did predict this earthquake, right? He did not predict the Turkey earthquake. I'm not going to get into the Dutch Sense dilemma because this could go pretty deep. But I don't want to bring up the dilemma right now, so I will keep it calm. And I will show you guys the 4.6 that struck out here in an unnamed area, an unnamed fault area in the Southern California desert. There's no fault systems out here at all. I do have the fault systems shown, but there are none out here within the radius of this 4.6 or the subsequent 2.9 that took place out there. So for a significant 4.6 to take place in an area where there is no significant fault boundary, no significant plate boundary out here, that puts in a question of what the F is going on out here, okay? And there is a lot of what the F is going on out here right now in Southern California and basically globally. If you look to the west of this 4.6, you can see a little spike of a landmass popping up out of the area, out of the region. Let me go to the satellite view, and maybe you guys can see this just a tad F better. Let's go to the satellite view. Alrighty. Pop that back out there. Here's a little bit better view for you guys here. This reminds me of the Sutter Buttes in Northern California. Sutter Buttes are a volcanic field, ancient, dormant volcanic field in Northern California, about 80 miles north of Sacramento, California. But this is not the Sutter Buttes of Northern California. This is the a volcanic field type area of Southern California. And there's no doubt, I don't think I have to show you guys or tell you guys that this is a volcanic type butte situated roughly within about, well, 1 mile of the 4.6 that struck near Barstow, California earlier this evening. Volcanic in nature? I'm not for sure. But it did strike within about 3.8 kilometers below the surface. The 2.9 struck within about 2.3 kilometers below the surface. Roughly, folks, within the same vicinity of each other. So no earthquake activity exactly on that butte, but it is notable to mention that specific earthquake activity within that dormant volcano down there in Southern California. Excuse me, folks. I kind of got a frog in my throat. Anyway, we need to go back out here and pop that up there in the feed. Southern California, be on alert, please. That's my warning for tonight. as we have seen movement in an area where we have not seen activity before in the past. That is what is concerning in my study of earthquakes here on this channel. With the Ridgecrest earthquake activity occurring to the north of this 4.6, it's something to pay attention to, folks. Potentially, folks, that we could see something major going on out here in Southern California over the next 24 hours or so. It's a big deal. 4.5 to the north, 4.6 to the south, in an area we have not seen any type of earthquake activity in the past before. Be alert, folks. The latest earthquake, 2.9 out here. There's a lot more to study, a lot more to progress out here. Just kind of looking at the earthquake or the browser out there in the Taal region. Still pretty minimal. No major explosive eruption out there in the Philippine Island region, but we are keeping an eye on it. So anyway, folks, gosh, I gotta get to bed. I'm pretty tired. I hope everyone has a good night. Please, Southern California, pay attention. Pay attention to Southern California.